How has the response been when you've brought this to people? Hey, this is what we're doing. How has the community responded?
Overwhelmingly positive. And amazing. Um, it's Kansas City is like a big small town. It feels like, everyone is very gracious and supportive. And, last summer when we started throwing around the ideas of doing pop-up events because we didn't have a space, we didn't have a bar open. We started by reaching out to some local bars that we thought would be amenable to it, and they were right on board. We brought the crowd, and then because we brought the crowd, and other bars started reaching out and asking us, we would bring the crowd to them. And I just think that goes to show, one, we have an amazing set of followers already, without even having a bar open. So shout out to all of them, and thank you for being along with us on this journey. But it also just shows the community spirit in KC, as well as like the small business owner spirit that's there. Everyone is willing to help out. Everyone is willing to help us be successful, really.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Sports and Shenanigans, where women's sports and pop culture collide. Thanks for hanging today. We are on the KCSN Sports Network. We are powered by Cherry, and today I'm thrilled because we've got two incredible guests. So I'm joined by the owners of the Dub. I have Rachel and I have Monica. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us today.
Of course, yeah, thanks for having us.
We are pumped to learn all about the Dub. Got you on here. I'm repping all the time, ladies. But for people who might not have heard about this new incredible bar coming to Kansas City, talk to us a little bit about the Dub and what inspired you all to open it.
The Dub is going to be a sports bar that prioritizes women's sports. Our mission is to be a safe and inclusive hub, where fans of women's sports can gather, cheer on, rally around the teams and athletes that really deserve all of our support in these days. The inspiration, came from the sports bra, really. They opened in 2022. It's been incredibly successful, and there's just such a need for spaces where women's sports fans can gather together and have some fun watching their teams. We know that Kansas City is a huge sports town, and we love that, and it has really championed women's sports so nicely over the past couple of years. And then with the current stadium and just the season the current had last year, the excitement is at an all-time high, I guess you could say. And we're really excited to bring the space to life so that it's there
and going.
Yeah.
I love that. The momentum, like you're talking about, it's definitely, it feels so high right now in Kansas City, but it's really beyond that. You mentioned the sports bra, which was such a clever name. I just have to always give them props. But really the first of its kind, right? Over in Portland. And I understand you actually had some pretty good conversations with the owner there. Is that correct?
Yeah, we got to meet Jenny. She was here in Kansas City for the championship game, the NWSL championship game. So we actually got to meet her in person. She came and checked out our space, which was really cool. She gave us lots of great advice that, kind of look at her as a mentor. We did without even meeting her, and just, looked at what she did, but then having those one-on-one conversations with her. Honestly, yeah, we picked her brain, and we learned so much just from that couple hours we got to talk with her. And then all the other bars that are also opening across the United States, I think, yeah, we're learning a lot from them as well too.
Yeah, it's so cool. This movement, this momentum, this just really shift into understanding the power of women's sports, the hunger to watch women's sports, the want for the access, etc. Talk to us a little bit about, like, in regard to that, bringing this, what are some of your goals? What do you want the experience to be like inside the Dub?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. And, inside the dub, we want it to be, we want you to walk in and know what you're getting yourself into. There's going to be women's sports on every TV. We will show men's sports. We love our Chiefs. We love our Royals. And all the other teams, we want to support them too, because we see women's sports as sports and we're all on the same playing field. So we do want to, show men's sports, but we are a spot where that any women's sports game that you're looking to find will be on TV. We'll have the sound on for big games. And the atmosphere is just going to be really warm and inviting. Some, how do we describe it? More contemporary, I guess. Then maybe a traditional sports bar, if you will.
Menus.
What's that?
Our drink menus.
Yeah. Our drink menu is going to be really inclusive of producers of minority, Black owned, women owned, local LGBTQ plus owned breweries, wineries, whatever it may be. It will have handcrafted cocktails. We'll have all of your typical beers, but a lot of local brews. We'll have a really great curated wine list, and then great affordable mocktails. There's so many people these days that want to go watch sports but aren't into the drinking scene or whatever. We want that to feel comfortable here at the Dub, to be able to order a really tasty mocktail and still enjoy the experience. So we'll have on current game days, we plan to have the chants on, and everyone just like really into the excitement of what's going on in the bar. Yeah,
I think that's a huge part of it. And then outside of the sports themselves and watching the sports themselves, one of our whole goals is for it to be a spot for the community. We want people to come there and meet new people and people that they can become friends with and truly create a community. We have plans to do that by hosting gatherings with intentions, right? And specific themed nights or gatherings for this interest, come meet up here, right? But also teaching people about sports. There's a lot of people that hear the hype about sports and support women and want to support women's sports, but have no interest in sports because they don't understand, or they've never watched, or don't have anyone to watch with. So teaching some soccer 101, what does this term mean? And then let's watch a game together and let's point these things out as we watch the game together. So just kind of bringing a community together and having that be a hub for that community is the goal.
I love that you bring in the potential for meeting, casual fans or those diehards, or maybe those people who have never watched, sports or a specific sport. I think that's what something I've taken from learning your journey is just the goal is to be so inclusive. And so that could be even just in your fandom, which I don't think people always think about. But I know that I've watched you and you've reached out and collaborated with community members. You talked about your drink menu, having local brews, local influence. How has the response been when you've brought this to people? Hey, this is what we're doing. How has the community responded?
Overwhelmingly positive. Amazing. Kansas City is like a big small town. It feels like, everyone is very gracious and supportive. And, last summer when we started throwing around the ideas of doing pop-up events, because we didn't have a space, we didn't have a bar open. We started by reaching out to some local bars that we thought would be amenable to it. And they were right on board. We brought the crowd, and then because we brought the crowd and other bars started reaching out and asking us, we would bring the crowd to them. And I just think that goes to show, one, we have an amazing set of followers already without even having a bar open. So shout out to all of them. And thank you for, being along with us on this journey. But it also just shows the community spirit in KC, as well as like the small business owner spirit that's there. Everyone is willing to help out. Everyone is, willing to help us be successful, really. So we've had great partnerships with, Strange Days, Big Rip, Friction, Main Street Tavern. It's been amazing just to kind of the Worm. Yeah, it's been amazing to feel that love from other small business owners in the area.
I think that's been like these bars that we're doing pop-ups at, those then become places that are the people that have followed us to those places can go back and feel comfortable watching a game there, right? Because they've been there, they've seen the games on there. And that's part of our mission too, is if we do this correctly, right, all sports bars will be women's sports bars. They'll just be sports bars, right? So that's, hopefully even through our pop-ups, we're kind of getting that movement started a little bit too. So, yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. Every person we meet would love to and has introduced us to somebody else that's been an asset to us and can help us either right now or has already helped us to get to this point or is a resource that we're going to use down the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, watching from an outsider's perspective, even just like your social following, and as you mentioned, your pop-ups, it really seems like this community wants you to win.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, I hope that's encouraging for you, for a female athlete and a sports fan. Like, it's encouraging for me to see your guys' progress. So, I mean, that has to feel good for you guys.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And it's really what's keeping us moving forward. We've hit some roadblocks and we've had some struggles, as all businesses do, getting their feet off the ground. But we really, have leaned into the community and the support we've received to just keep pushing forward. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, you mentioned the current in specific. Obviously, you can't be in Kansas City and not see teal or red, and in regard to the KC Current. Did the viewership in NWSL, the viewership in even WNBA, was that motivation for you all as far as the timing of opening this? I know you mentioned earlier the momentum.
Yes.
So important. I'm just blown away by, yes, in-person attendance, NWSL, but the viewership. And when we're talking about a bar, you're talking about viewership, right? And watching games. So how much has that impacted what you're doing and how you're building kind of your business plan and all your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both believe everything happens for a reason. And we didn't live in Kansas City before, a year and a half ago. So a little over a year and a half, I guess. So at the beginning of the stadium being built is pretty much when we started to move down here in that process. And I think we've had this idea, Monica's had this idea and been bouncing it around for a long time in different places that we've lived. And it wasn't the right timing for us and the right spot that we felt for us to do it. Opportunities brought us here. And then everything kind of started to fall into place. The current stadium was being built, the current success of their season, Caitlin Clark, all the hype with WNBA. You just started hearing women's sports a lot more. The sports bar was successful. There was more of these women's sports bars opening. And it just became kind of like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
And if we don't, someone else will, which is great. But we wanted to do this. Like, we got to go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely influenced a lot. Like, I think the support of Kansas City, the support Kansas City has for sports in general, I think we probably would have felt this was the right place to do it regardless. Yeah. But that really fueled the fire to do it as quickly as we did after moving down here.
No, I agree, with all of that. And then, to the viewership point, that has expanded so rapidly as well. And I think, we're grateful for, the networks and everyone that's finally getting on board and picking up, broadcasting these games to a much wider audience. And, when you look at the figures of viewership, it's not 100% females watching. There's a high percentage of males watching female sports because the Athletic the athleticism is so wonderful, that competition level is so high. I mean, these athletes are really out there performing at their best, and it's catching the eye of everyone, it feels like. And I think we can't forget, about the kids and the youth that are being able to really see athletes play at a level that they haven't been able to see on a regular basis before. I mean, growing up as a soccer player, swimmer, basketball player, I played all the sports. But watching it on TV was like, no, you're always going to watch a guy's game.
Maybe the Olympics.
Yeah. The Olympics were probably your one shot, or the World Cup or something like that, to watch it on TV. So being able to have access to the games at a level we've never had before is so exciting. And I'm really grateful for it. I think it's going to just be best, continue to be good for all the generations to come. So yeah, viewership is huge.
Yeah, you brought me to my next kind of question. Just how cool is it to know that you're now going to provide that access?
Yeah.
Like, that is so
It's motivating for us too. I think even that point of like being a young female athlete, we both had skills, right? But as someone watching in my living room and only seeing female athletes in the Olympics, how do I get from here in my tiniest small town of 500 people to the Olympics, right? That doesn't seem attainable. You don't see the steps in between. You don't see college sports. You don't see high school sports. You don't see local sports. You don't see all of the different opportunities that you have. And I think obviously the talent has always been there. It's not like female athletes have just become female athletes in the last 5 years. They've lacked exposure and they've lacked the viewership. Nobody's been able to see them unless you're sitting there in person. And to be able to be part of the movement to give women the platform that they deserve since day one, that's motivating.
It is.
It's exciting to be able to give that to young people and to everybody.
Yeah. I agree completely. It's very motivating and it's very exciting to be that catalyst.
I mean, I have to tell you, you inspired me to get going on this podcast. Well, I appreciate that. It's like a domino effect. But I would be like remiss if I didn't give you guys props, because you both have full-time jobs. You are both very involved in other professional endeavors, but in a nutshell, I mean, just talk us through. I know you both have been athletes, but what you're doing when you're not getting the dub up and running, because you are very, very busy outside of that.
Yeah, we both are. My full-time job allows me to work from home, which is I'm very grateful for. So I do have some flexibility and in the time, in my day to work very hard on the dub. But when we're not focused on the dub, we have a little corgi dog that we absolutely love. His name's Neville, like Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter. We're big Harry Potter nerds. So we spend a lot of time with him. Like Rachel said, we're still pretty new to Kansas City. So we spend a lot of our time exploring the city. We're big foodies, love our cocktails. So we make it out to the bars and restaurants in town, pretty frequently. And through this process too, something that has been an amazing gift is getting to know others in the community, in nonprofit organizations, in other women leaders in business, and it's really inspiring to see all of that energy in Kansas City. And we've been spending a lot more time in those types of circles, and that's been really fun.
Yeah.
We're community people. We like to surround ourselves with people and social people. Like, we're social people, so we spend a lot of time getting to know new people and finding groups of people that we can be part of, and enjoy that.
I just feel like you represent so much of what I would describe as female athletes and I just think the most dynamic people, and being able to balance it all and do it all and Oh, I mean, we're about to provide this incredible access and exposure and experience for our community. But yeah, like we have full-time jobs as we're set up that good thing. So
It's very type A perfectionism to T of me. That's just who I am as a person.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's hear a little bit about the location, and obviously we'd love to know the timeline, but what all can you share? What do you feel comfortable sharing with as far as like when we get to come celebrate and have our first drink?
Yeah, of course. So location, we're right downtown, 9th and Main. So it's 1 block off the streetcar. We're basically like 5 blocks from Power and Light, and the River Market. We can walk to CPKC Stadium, which is super exciting. And yeah, it's it's in the heart right there.
All right, next to Milwaukee Deli, we've got great neighbors, Mildred's Milwaukee Deli.
Right near the library. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic spot.
Location.
Yep. Our goal is to start leading marches to CPKC so we can be kind of a pregame spot and then march down there. That would be a really fun thing to do as a group. And God, timeline's a difficult question.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. I know.
As soon as we possibly can.
We're still saying spring.
Yeah,
We're still saying spring.
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
We have a wonderful construction
Yep.
crew, Heartline Construction, who is a WBE woman-owned business. And we have partnered with them to find a way to hire all women in the trades to build up the dub, which, if we've all done our research correctly, will be the first place in Kansas City to be all female built. So, they are committed. They are ready to go.
They're excited.
They're excited. And we have them, teed up. So we're just waiting on that final signature from the city and we can get going. And so, yeah, we're still saying spring and we can't wait. We can't wait to open our doors to everyone.
Yeah, I know there's some red tape and many hurdles that you've already been over, more to come, but just know that everybody in the city, and I know you know this, you feel it, but everyone's pulling for you, so it's so exciting. You do have some things kind of on the horizon. You have some things in action. Tell us what you have going on.
Yeah, we've definitely got some pop-ups already set up for the She Believes Cup, the U.S. Women's National Team soccer. So those are on our website. I don't remember them off the top of my head right now, but those are on our website. We will for sure be doing those. We've also got March Madness coming up. So we've kind of pulled away from the pop-ups over the holidays, but we miss them and are excited to get back into doing those. We've got our merch is online on our website. We've got some new merch coming out.
Yes.
So yeah, we're trying to get creative, seeing, new ways that we can do pop-ups, partnering with new bars, kind of finding some new spaces that we might be able to use, maybe some outdoor spaces that we can use now that spring's coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to be creative and keep the momentum going with our pop-ups and things like that. Keep putting women on TV, maybe not our TVs yet, but they're going to be out there.
They will be out there. Yes. Sound will be on. Yeah. And then we've got KU versus K-State basketball, which is Saturday the 22nd.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing that at Friction Brewing down in Shawnee. So some basketball, some soccer. Those are the big ones this month. And then March, we roll into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's good. And the best way for people to keep up with you is on social. Is that right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Everything.
you guys came up with all this, didn't you?
No, we did have a graphic designer. Yeah, we came up with, we knew we wanted to do a trophy in a cocktail glass kind of mesh situation.
Okay.
But our graphic designer out of Georgia was amazing.
I came up with the name and kind of the overall idea of it, but she put it together like that. I also bet it's incredible.
We love
I
it.
love it. I love it. Well, again, you guys are inspiring those who you haven't even met yet. So keep working on that. We appreciate it. Can't wait to come in. Here's a drink with you guys. And we know that there's some hurdles, so just stay positive. We're sending all the good vibes, but really excited for what you're doing, for what you're offering, and for what you're providing the community. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. we can't wait to have a drink with everyone.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys. It's of course Rachel and Monica of the Dub. Follow them on social and make sure you're following our shows, all the places that you can catch your podcast. Make sure you're subscribing. This has been Sports and Shenanigans, where women's sports and pop culture collide. Catch you guys next week.